Danger Boy Deegs gives the industry the middle finger. Hey everybody, Walty Wanderers, buckle up, strap in. We got a hard-hitting pull, no punches, no sugarcoating it, no rainbows or sunshine. I'm just going to give it to you and give it to you straight. We got a good one to unpackage today. Welcome to the show. I hope everybody's doing great. So let's jump back on the Moto merry-go-round as we examine the good, the bad, and maybe just a little bit of the ugly.
No, Walty, not the ugly, only examine rainbows and sunshine.
No. Somebody's got to read between the lines and look between the ruts. We got some ruts to look between today with our boy, Danger Boy Deegs. Full send, baby. Listen, dude, this is gnarly. In fact, I'm starting to wonder, and we need to poll it. We'll be doing some polling, so if you're new, get subscribed, jump over to the community page of the Walty Wanderers YouTube channel and participate, bring your tear-offs, because the roost tends to fly. Is this part of, this could be orchestrated, man, because think about it. Danger Boy got busted for street racing, when in actuality, he's just doing donuts in the parking lot. Now, other than the fact that it did say he, in fact, had a fake ID on him, and, you know, understandably so. When you, I don't think I ever had a fake ID, but I had plenty of friends that did to try to get into the clubs and pull checks, right? I mean, dude, so Danger apparently had a fake ID. So with that being said, I don't know if this is necessarily orchestrated, because I think they're going to segue this into, I mean, they're already done it. You know, he's already making merch, because the thing is that the cat's out of the bag. There's no cleanup on aisle 5 you can do when you get arrested and your mug shot starts trending online, which is in fact what happened. So your only choice at that point is to embrace it, maximize it, and run with it. And that's in fact what they've decided to do. Now, I bet you, I don't know, but I would bet that if Danger Boys camp, they're having, hey, we got an emergency meeting, we got to talk about what to do with this thing. And so they're like, hey, we could either just ignore this and hope it goes away, or we could in fact try to spin it and see if we can maximize this to our advantage. And of course, maximizing it to your advantage would be the best bet. Now, because I know as a parent myself, as a father with a kid not much older than the Deegs, if he got busted doing donuts, I would probably, I mean, for me, I'd let him off, because the hook, in one sense, like, I wouldn't be stoked to be like, good job, son, let's go do it again tonight. No. Because, I mean, it's a marking on your driving record. Your insurance rates are going up, and it's an infraction. And you're going to probably have to do some fines and community service, and possibly even have your license restricted or suspended. So it's not like I'm going to pat him on the back and say, good job. But I was once that age too, and I used to get squirrely and all the time, and, you know, in my rig, and I'm sure you guys did too, right? Fat burnouts, leaving the high school parking lot, whatever. You know, it's raining out. He's like, perfect, let's go do some drifting. So, like, I get it, but the reality is this. Danger Boy, for me, had this been somebody else, like, I don't know, let's say a Shimoda or anybody, almost anybody out there that's a factory rider, that's not got the nickname of, you know, Danger Boy Shimoda or Danger Boy Hymus. It's Danger Boy Deegs. And so this fits right into his persona. And none of us are really that surprised, because, like, we've pulled this before, is, you know, most of the guys are like, dude, this is just Militia 2.0 is what Danger Boy Deegs is. And that's in essence really what it is. Now, I would say this is a watered down version of the Militia. Was like pretty much, you know, took on a whole life of its own. I mean, it was borderline, you know, I got to be careful what words I use here because of the algorithm, but, you know, the Militia was almost like gang kind of, I don't know, there's just so many fans adopted that whole Militia look with the red bandanas and whatever, and shaved heads and hardcore and fight and party and there. Danger Boy Deegs, he's kind of embraced the bad boy image, but he's kind of got this clean cut kind of approach to it. Like, he's not the, you know, Militia stereotypical persona, but he's creating his own kind of persona, which is this footloose, carefree youngster that came up with a dad that was the Militia, watching his dad, you know, do gnarly freestyle tricks at their compound. even going out and doing some freestyle himself before he got into competitive racing. And now, they're just riding on the success of their YouTube channel and the Danger Boy Deegs new merchandising campaign, because his popularity is clearly now even trumped the Wonder Boy, the chosen one, the Moto Messiah, Jet Lawrence, who didn't like being the good boy. He wants to be the bad boy. But I think his camp, we've seen him ink up. He clearly doesn't want to be squeaky clean. He's a kid and he's living the dream. And, he sees other riders in the pits that are sporting ink. He wants to sport ink too, because he wants to be one of the guys. But we already know the chosen one, the Wonder Boy, the Moto Messiah, his folks probably keep a pretty tight leash on him as well. And they're like, you need to fit in this mold once you've retired. Then if you want to, go, look however you want to look. But for right now, we're doing this, donut pushing, fan fest stuff. We need you squeaky clean. Your brother's squeaky clean. We want you squeaky clean. But I don't think, Jetson's going to be something to watch, because for a while it looked like he had the industry, by the cojones. And now, he's going out with injury. It's a decent injury. It's keeping him off the bike for a while. I think his natural talent will clearly put him right back into the championship hunt and race wins. But unfortunately, once you've opened Pandora's box, there's a good chance, those injuries could in fact keep coming. Now, luckily for him, and I've talked about this, the industry went all in on the Wonder Boy and paid him just more money than anybody's ever been paid in our sport in history. And he's got right off into the sunset money already stacked. But this is the only thing he knows, moto. Now, if you take the fun out of it for him, he might not be as willing to go out there and ride the way the industry had pretty much paid him to ride and be the face of the sport. Now they got to deal with Deegs being the face of the sport. And guess what? With him now going ahead and doing his own mugshot merchandise shirts and hoodies and whatever else they're throwing that on, you better know the industry is not too pumped right now, because they're trying to keep this thing squeaky clean, cross-marketing, Telemundo, invite other celebrities or stars that are even part of our specific discipline of sport, paying them at least accommodations and travel, my guess, to come be guests at these events, because they want to tap into other demographics to make this mainstream. And that's why they've also coined this playoffs and referees instead of track officials. They're using a lot of buzzwords that we'd use with ball sports, because that's like, hey, these fans are stupid. They'll believe whatever we tell them. Just tell Ricky, instead of calling it SX or Supercross, to call it SMX. We want to rebrand the whole series to SMX. And, really we have indoors, outdoors, and off-season events, which is in fact now playoffs, and they're hybrid tracks. So they're not much different from the invitationals that we used to have, from the US Open to the Monster Million, to anything else that we've had, that was basically it for a long time. But this was, instead of a one-off race, a full series of races, and quite kind of elaborate in terms of how we're getting in. Now we'll see because when people get hurt, then they got to go try to qualify through the LCQ, and that's probably why they have that opportunity, because they want the biggest stars in the sport to be able to play, race in the playoffs. So if you're hurt and you don't qualify straight in, they want you to have that chance, because they want you out there, because that's what puts butts in the seats and money in their pockets. But Danger Boy Deegs, I think he's pretty much, the gloves are all the way off now. I think for a while he's like, okay, I'm going to play within the rules, Pops. Like I'm going to be, I'm not going to, I'm going to play within the rules. But they also wanted to be edgy. But he wasn't like as big of a, I don't know, bad boy as maybe his dad was when he was in the sport, riding with teams like Triple X, which is just the premier bad boy team. He's riding for the top factory team, making top factory dollars. But the reality is this: he's now done. You're going to see a lot of mugshot tees showing up to the races in the industry now. I can't wait to see how, in fact, this weekend in Seattle, how the industry, they're going to talk about this. They're talking in their conference room right now. They're not, they believe me, they're in their conference rooms talking right now, like, how we're going to have to address this. How should we do it? And they're probably going to try to minimize it as well, and make light of it, maybe even kind of give a fun spin, like, oh, he was just doing donuts and this and that and blah, 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 whatever the case may be. But the reality is this did not help them by having the Deegs now have his mugshot show up on thousands of fans into these stadiums where they're trying to make it squeaky clean. In final thoughts, I come to you as a friend, as a content creator, as a moto guy that wants to see you not only win on the track, off the track. Understand the waters you're swimming in now. They're shark infested. Danger boy, welcome to the swimming pool. The water's warm in here, dude. You should feel plenty comfortable at this point. Good job. I mean, this was your best bet. Clearly, you guys talked about how do we minimize this? How do we go into damage control? And more than that, how can we maximize what happened? And in fact, it almost is probably going to be, I hate to say it, a good thing in disguise. But that's why Walty will be here to blow the lid off it every step of the way, because it's not only what we need, it's in fact what we deserve. If you appreciate the content, I want to humbly ask you to give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. Social media link in the description of this video if you'd like to follow me there, along with links to channels I've appeared on I think you might enjoy. If you enjoyed this video, gonna love the next video. And there's an easy subscribe icon for your convenience. As always, thank you for your time. Don't go over the bars. God bless, and I'll see you on the next video.